Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of our F1 career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Tonight we head into Las Vegas, the streets of Las Vegas. The second time Formula One has come to this venue, the first time for myself as a Formula One Williams rookie. Just recently we announced we will be racing for one more season with the Williams team. You see the current R&D as it stacks up coming into this weekend. Aston Martin is at the top. An exciting weekend here. Of course, a lot of glamour around this race. It's going to be an exciting one. And we've got a few storylines. Of course, Red Bull kind of the main target here in more ways than one. Max Verstappen comes in with a chance to lock up the world title depending on if he can beat Charles Leclerc and by how many points he can beat the Ferrari driver by. Of course, Sergio Perez's future continues to be uncertain, but no announcements this weekend in Las Vegas. And as well, Red Bull looks to open up that constructors battle against Ferrari, who kind of just tries to keep Red Bull under pressure. And of course, they have been kind of dropping the ball in the recent rounds when they've had good opportunities to gain points, and it's starting to look like if Red Bull can hang on today, they just really have to get through next episode in Qatar without a complete disaster, and they will be okay. This video was supposed to go out yesterday. It didn't happen because I ended up getting trapped in a snowstorm. That was cool. You can see it on the screen right now, the situation I found myself in, so apologies about that, but there wasn't really much I could do. So yeah, it's been a few days since the last episode. I told you guys last episode this was going to happen, and of course hoping that over the next week we're really going to start getting that consistency up, not only on this channel but on the NASCAR one as well. But we focus in on practice, and my teammate Alex Albon went top of the board. Meanwhile, at the bottom, it was Max Verstappen and his Red Bull. Of course, none of that matters. We come into qualifying, and I've always lacked confidence when it comes to this track. I do not feel good whatsoever about racing in Las Vegas. This track doesn't really mesh very well with myself. It just doesn't click with me, basically. And I was definitely concerned about that coming into this weekend now. And we jump into qualifying, and we're on the soft compound tire, our first lap, and you can already see struggling a little bit for grip there, sliding on the exit of turn number 1, and right up against the barrier on the exit of the right-hander now. But over the course of this lap, just trying to get the car around without causing too much issue, of course, and then just trying to put in a good baseline lap really was the idea. And this first lap was actually ended up not going too bad as we came to the end of the Las Vegas Strip. However, get up over the curbing there, not too bad overall. We're going to come back around across the stripe here through the long, the quick left curve, and we go P8. Currently on the board, we would end up late in the session down in 12th and 13th for the pair of myself and my teammate of Alex Albon here at Williams. And looking for one more lap late in the session, I was not confident P12 currently was going to be enough looking at the other drivers around, so trying to find some time, and I would find it, but then I would start to give it up as I went back onto the Las Vegas Strip. Everybody had crossed the line, and I could not be eliminated, so I called it a lap. Albon is out, unfortunately, in Q1. We barely squeaked through, not by much. I mean, Albon's only a 100th of a second off, and we tie with Ocon. So it's Albon and Butler out in Q1, and of course a few others. But Liam Lawson goes through. Him and Yuki Tsunoda could be going head-to-head for the seat at Red Bull if they, of course, decide to put one of them in over Sergio Perez. Here in Q2, however, coming to the end of the strip, actually making a mistake right here, and we are nearly invalidating our lap. We really sailed it off in there, but we actually managed to keep it clean. We crossed the stripe and we go P11, so quite happy with that. Obviously not enough for Q3, and that would be all I did. So we end up P13, Lawson goes P11, very impressive. Sauber, Kick, Bottas, and P12. Norris out in Q2, and Charles Leclerc is going to take a 5-place grid penalty for illegal blocking.
Welcome to Las Vegas, and for Formula One, it's welcome back to Las Vegas. No longer do we race in the Caesars Palace car park. Tonight, the time is right to go racing in the street. Well, tonight we go racing around the bright lights of Las Vegas, 3.8 miles under the Nevada night sky and thousands of neon lights. There are landmarks everywhere you look, punctuating the 17 corners and 2 DRS zones. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Oscar Piastri lines up on pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Russell, Fernando Alonso, Sainz, Perez, Ocon, Bottas, Golden Boy, Norris, Stroll, Albon, Liam Lawson, Butler, Tsunoda, Ackerman, Gasly, Hulkenberg, and Charles Leclerc completes today's grid order. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today.
So Charles Leclerc starts at the bottom of the grid as we are opting for the 2-stop, starting on mediums, going to mediums, then switching to hards for the end of the Grand Prix.
Here we go then, the formation lap gets underway and the excitement here is building as we near ever closer to the start of the race. Which team will come out on top? Who's got their strategies right for today's race? Well, we'll soon find out.
Majority of the field starting on mediums, but Lawson, Tsunoda, and Hulkenberg all electing to go onto the soft compound tire as they look to move forward early on with extra grip.
As the cars come back towards the grid to line up for the start of the race, each driver will be wanting to get the best start they possibly can, and they'll be hoping to finish today's race on the podium, failing that, within the points.
Right, boys, of course, a lot to gain for us here as the team and, of course, the constructors. So do what we can and have a good night.
Stay focused tonight, mate. Let's aim for points.
So we're ready to roll here in this number 5 for Williams. Sebastian Vettel will be taking back the number 5 when he comes back to the grid next season after a few seasons away from Formula 1. I will be switching my number. I already know what my number is, but I'm not going to tell you guys quite yet. 25 laps of racing here from Las Vegas. We start P10. We're racing from the streets of Vegas now as Oscar Piastri leads the field in a turn 1. We put some pressure immediately on the Frenchman of Esteban Ocon, who's headed to Haas next season alongside Ollie Behrman. Now as they're side by side in front of us now, and Piastri's gotten away over Lewis Hamilton in that second position now, as you can see. How about Fernando Alonso? He's been in the mix recently with Aston Martin's gains and successes, and of course he's head-to-head with Red Bull's Verstappen. Perez as well in the mix now, as Perez knows his future very much on the line. Now the Ferrari's got some work to do with Leclerc starting at the back of the grid. Passing will not be easy here in Vegas with that Las Vegas strip. As you can see now, they continue wheel to wheel. Verstappen trying to go forward early on and gain the points he can. He's ahead of Fernando Alonso, who will be back next season at Aston Martin alongside his Spaniard teammate Carlos Sainz. Was just announced that Aston Martin last episode. Lance Stroll will be stepping out of a driving role as Aston Martin looks to, well, focus on actually trying to win a championship now that they're bringing Adrian Newey to the team. And of course it'll be exciting to see what Stroll can do in a manager type role within the team now, as Alonso just kind of settles into P4, shows the nose on Verstappen, can't quite make anything happen at the end of the strip. As for myself, I find myself under pressure actually from Liam Lawson here into the braking zone. He's going to get at my inside. He's going to take the position. Now I was really struggling, and we dropped down to P13 on this opening lap of racing from Vegas. So we started 10th after moving up a little bit from the grid. Penalty helps with, Leclerc going backwards, for example, but now we're down to P13, so not exactly the position we would prefer to be in. Lando Norris has gone forward. He's already up into the top 10 in P9 as he's trying to run his way forward. One win on the season, one career win, of course, in the storyline, and that was at Coda. His teammate of Piastri, 2 career wins to his name. Here comes down my teammate of Alex Albon, putting some pressure on me, and it's apparent right off the bat that although we had pace in qualifying, we are struggling to, well, basically replicate that same pace here in the Grand Prix. And as the second lap was going on, I am losing ground. Albon's now opened up over a second gap, and Yuki Tsunoda now putting pressure on me, and I have to bail on using my overtake because I'm draining my battery, but that means we're losing out. Sonoda dives one up the inside, and I did not want to be side by side into that corner as we nearly clipped the barrier on the left, but we are going backwards quickly. We're down to P15 as we start lap 3 of this Grand Prix. Really not sure what's gone wrong here compared to qualifying, but certainly we are lacking some pace and it's not feeling good. I mentioned earlier in the video I wasn't very confident when it comes to racing at this circuit, and I felt like it was starting to show, and you can see a mistake made for myself there, heading onto the strip, nearly head on into the barrier. We're going to give up some time there. Fortunately, we still have DRS, and that was saving us. Charles Leclerc, he's very slowly working his way forward. He's just now up to P16 on lap 5, so he's gained about 5 positions, and now he's going to try and run us down in his Ferrari, and he really should have no problem getting to us here and passing us as well. And as we came to lap 6 now on the strip again, Leclerc is here. My problem is my battery is really not surviving the way I need it to be. It's not maintaining a charge the way I need it to maintain. 3 wide in front of us. Lance Stroll's in the middle of that. Our teammate of Alex Albon, Liam Lawson as well. We back up, just waiting for these guys to settle it out. Contact up there. Looks like Albon goes around the outside. He gets up to P11. Lawson had a bit of a moment. He's down to P12, and we still, of course, maintain P15. Now, we do have some more engine components that could be playing a bit of a role, as I was trying to avoid a grid penalty, as we now have a run to the left side, up the inside, in a turn 1 of Sonoda. We were just talking about the struggles that we were having, and there we go. We actually gain a position, so we'll take it now up to P14, and we have DRS already and maybe a bit of a slipstream from Lance Stroll, but the problem still is the battery. We don't have much battery at all to work with, as now Stroll goes past Liam Lawson. Leclerc looking to go past Sonoda, and he would go wheel to wheel with him now, as we're going to follow the V-carb in front of us, and sure enough, Leclerc is going to get through into P15, so that's a concern. He should be able to get a run on us soon, but we would actually have a run on Liam Lawson now at the end of the Vegas strip, wheel to wheel. Not going to make it easy on him. We hop up over the curbing, we take the position up into P13. We've gained 2 spots now on lap 7, but unfortunately it was short-lived, because as we come through to lap 8, the first DRS straight, and Lawson and Leclerc both right on me now, and they're going to breeze past me. I really just kind of let up on this one, as I realized it was just a silly fight to put myself 3 wide in the middle, so I just kind of let it roll, and Leclerc's going to go through into P13 as he's desperately trying to move his way forward for the points. Now, the top 2 drivers have run away, and that's Hamilton and Piastri. They've been going back and forth, swapping the lead now. Piastri was leading, but Hamilton was pitting on lap 8 coming to lap 9. So, of course, the 2-stop strategy, you can try a 1-stop. I'm sure some are going to try it, but I think the 2-stop is going to be the way to go here today. But nonetheless, Hamilton now into the pits. Another set of mediums onto his Mercedes. Now only a few races left for him at Mercedes before he heads to Ferrari. I as well come in. Verstappen, Lawson, all pitting. There's Lando Norris as well, and Lance Stroll all coming in, actually late on the turn-in here. I keep forgetting my button for the turn-in, but nonetheless, we're going to get the pit stop complete, but certainly we lose time here now, unfortunately, so we continue to exit out and head back onto the racetrack in front of Rookie of the Year contender Devin Butler. Unless something crazy happens, we have Rookie of the Year pretty well sealed up. We just, of course, have to survive the last couple races now. Piastri pits from the lead. Looks like Alonso and Sainz, maybe, and Esteban Ocon and Alex Albon all are trying to go for the 1-stop strategy. Hamilton going past Leclerc, who also might be on the 1-stop strategy, but look at this mess I found myself in. We've continued to struggle for pace. Devin Butler now goes past us. Here comes Nico Hulkenberg. I just have no pace, and then, of course, the Haas on the softs is quick enough to, of course, get up my inside, and we hopefully can follow him through, but we're down to P20 as we would fight back, though, immediately on Hulkenberg up in the inside. Turn number 1, we'll take that position back. Actually really used him up right there. Not what I really wanted to do, but just kind of found myself pushing wide in turn 1, and now we try to run back down Devin Butler, but hold on, Hulkenberg trying to fight back. I drained the little battery I have to stay ahead of the German driver, but on the Las Vegas strip I wasn't within DRS range at the DRS detection of Butler, and unfortunately Hulkenberg was with me. He passes us, we go down to P19 because Casper Ackerman had just come out of the pits behind us. Really disappointed to say the least with how this race is going now. Out front it's Carlos Sainz and Fernando Alonso, two future teammates right now on two separate teams. Ocon in third, Albon in fourth. They're all on the one stop. Hamilton into fifth. Leclerc P6 on the one stop as well. Piastri on the two stop. So Hamilton and Piastri I think are the two to watch for who is going to have more pace late in this race. Now the two Red Bulls scrapping it out as well. Perez, Verstappen, wheel to wheel, head to head. Perez knows his future is very uncertain with Red Bull in Formula One. If he doesn't have a ride at Red Bull, he doesn't have a ride at all. He goes past Max Verstappen, who's three wide in the middle now. Russell up is inside, and Norris around the outside. They both get him done. Russell, of course, you know, he's not going to make it easy on Verstappen with recent comments made, as now Alonso comes into the pits. He'll be doing his one and only pit stop. Signs will go an additional lap. So we'll see Hamilton shuffle out through to the lead and Oscar Piastri to P2, but look at the track map. You can see that Piastri is already to the back of Hamilton. There's Esteban Ocon coming out just in front. Alex Albon had just made his one and only pit stop. He's down behind us in P18, but only a second back. That was a concern. We did those extra laps on fresh tires, and we only have now less than a second margin on our own teammate now, as everyone's going to start to get clumped together in this battle right in front of us. Hulkenberg and Butler, wheel to wheel. Butler really checking up here now. Hulkenberg into P13, Butler P14 as we approach the Vegas Strip. It's going to get interesting now as we've got trouble behind. Pierre Gasly in the Alpine. The Frenchman's going to be done. He is returning to Alpine next season. Of course, his teammate Esteban Ocon headed out to the Haas F1 team. And we know, of course, it will be, Devin Butler heading to Alpine with them. And speaking of Devin Butler, a big move around the outside of Hulkenberg passes him. We'll go wheel to wheel with rookie contender Butler into the end of the Vegas Strip. We hop over the curb and we run into the side of Butler. Contact. We get through. It wasn't clean, and he's not going to be happy about that one now, but not what I want to do. That's just not how I like to race, but I just simply made a mistake right there. Humped up over the curbing. Nothing comes out of it. We do, of course, continue on and maintain our position. The stewards decide to let us get away with it, but unfortunately for me, look at this. I couldn't get out of DRS range, and now we have no DRS into the end of the strip on lap 15. We're three wide. We slide, actually, kicking out the rear end. Here comes Albon now. I mean, absolute madness as we drop to P16, just like that, from 13th to 16th. Here's Leclerc way behind as I decide we're going to pit right now. We're only a couple laps out of our pit window and nothing is working. We're going backwards. Let's just pit now and get it over with. So we're going to come in and put on the hard compound tire. Meanwhile, Oscar Piastri has gotten back to the lead of this Grand Prix. We're going to go through the grid with 10 laps to go as that pit stop for myself was happening.
Just 10 more laps for Oscar Piastri, who leads the chasing Lewis Hamilton. It looks like it will be these two head-to-head against Fernando Alonso on the one-stop strategy for the win.
It's the young gun up against two aged legends of the sport. Who do you got your money on? I've got mine on the young kid from Australia.
How about Sergio Perez in fourth? A huge run for him tonight, and he is beating Max Verstappen, who is currently locking up his fourth world title. Ted, what can you say about Perez?
Yeah, guys, Sergio was in position to lose his ride after tonight if Ferrari got too close in the title fight, and Sergio dropped the ball again. However, right now he's done exactly what he's needed to, and Red Bull is on track to outscore Ferrari. If he can survive tonight, he should maintain his ride for the last two races, but is expected to be out of the car next year.
Which means either Lawson or Tsunoda will get his seat. It should be a no-brainer, really, but you never know with Red Bull.
That is very true. How about Williams, and specifically Owen? He has had a horrific night here in Vegas.
He hasn't had the pace all night long. Not a good night for him, but he will move on quickly.
So you see Valtteri Bottas and then myself at the bottom of the grid. It's not been pretty. Hulkenberg just now coming out of the pits. We do get out in front of him, but we're on the hards. He's on the mediums now, and starting to wonder if we should have replaced some engine components pre-race or something, because obviously this has not been working out now. Hamilton comes into the pits, he'll get those mediums off, go on to the hards, his final pit stop now. Piastri's going to pit another lap or two later, and that's where things are going to get interesting. Here comes Nico Hulkenberg now at the end of lap 17. Up my inside through the curve, wheel to wheel across the stripe into turn number 1, and he's going to take the position now. I mean, I just feel defenseless, like I can't fight at all with the state of this car right now. And Casper Ackerman comes out of the pits now just behind myself as well, but I've got nothing. I am struggling so hard as now Oscar Piastri, George Russell are going to come into the pits, and that will in fact put Fernando Alonso out in front as he is trying to go to the end, and same for Carlos Sainz. They're all on one stop, trying to make it to the end and trying to make it work. Can any of them make it work? I think, of course, Alonso has the opportunity to do so now. As you can see, Ocon, Piastri, Perez all trailing. There's Albon, who's in position to maybe score some points here before this is over as well, which would be a great drive for him here tonight, and I mean, absolutely destroys me. I got passed by Ackerman, and I just have no pace at this point. A very frustrating experience, and it felt like we could do nothing about it. This is terrible, guys. I mean, honestly, we should just retire the car.
You will finish this race, Gary. I know it sucks, but this is a race that you will learn and grow from. Finish this out.
So you hear the radio communication between myself and our team principal right there, James Vowles, as it's just, hey, finish this race out. It is what it is, as now we're P18, the second to last driver running, but here comes Devin Butler now, and it's just, like I said, just defenseless now as Butler goes by, and yeah, we're just going to do everything we can to hang with him to the end of this Grand Prix. You never know what's going to happen now. Is Lewis Hamilton going to be the first one to get past these front two runners? He passes Sainz. He's over 3 seconds behind Fernando Alonso with 5 laps to go. Piastri coming to the end of lap 21, not far behind Lewis Hamilton, and he's going to be able to pass the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz as well on the run into turn 1. Sainz nearly door checked into the barrier, and Alonso's gap already down to 2.2 seconds. Hamilton is closing, and he's closing quick, but Piastri's there as well. We've seen Piastri close the gap to Hamilton once and passed him already. Can he do it a second time? Yes, he will. Lap 22 down the strip. Here comes Piastri to take over P2 and potentially the provisional lead. Now only 1.5 seconds between Piastri, Hamilton, and Fernando Alonso. Now as that's happening, speaking of Piastri, his teammate Lando Norris with a mechanical failure. It's going to be day over for Norris, and that's not what McLaren wants to see, because it's going to bring out a virtual safety car, and that is going to slow down the pace. So virtual safety car is out, and honestly, this is what I wanted to see. It's just less racing time for me to lose time. So I was hoping that this was going to stay out for quite a lengthy period of time, to be completely honest, but it would resume within about half a lap, so we get back to the racing. And now, of course, only, 3 laps of racing to go at this point, so we'll see what we can do with Devin Butler. Trying to maintain inside the DRS really is the main goal at this point. We're doing exactly that as we continue up on the final 2 laps. Look at the track map. Piastri and Hamilton both have gotten to Alonso. Fernando Alonso, it's been over a decade since he's won, but I think, unfortunately, it's going to have to wait on the Las Vegas Strip. Piastri, it's not even going to be a contest. Oscar Piastri through to the lead, coming to 1 lap to go in Las Vegas. 2 wins to his name, Monaco and Azerbaijan this season, trying to now make it 3-1 compared to his teammate of Lando Norris. We're right to the back of Butler. I didn't want to pass him right there simply because I did not want to be on defense mode with only 25% battery. Coming to the final lap, a bit of a slide right there, coming to 1 lap to go in this Las Vegas Grand Prix. Both of us have closed the gap to the Haas cars in front, but we don't have enough time to get them. 1 lap to go. We won't attack. We're waiting for the DRS to make it a little bit easier. We slide a little bit in turn 1. Butler loses it under pressure. He self-spins. We move through the 2 rookies battling for last. go around, and we slip through 17th position as on this final lap, Lewis Hamilton goes through to take P2 over Alonso. It will be a podium for Alonso, and Perez in P6, Verstappen in P8. It's Oscar Piastri coming through these final few turns. Leclerc's only in P11. Ferrari will not gain on Red Bull in the constructors, and it's going to be Piastri getting career win number 3 here from Las Vegas.
Let's go, guys. Thank you so much.
You hear typical Oscar Piastri excitement on the radio. Sainz P5, Perez outperforms Verstappen in 6th and 8th for Verstappen. Perez will keep his ride, I would expect, for the rest of the season with a move like that or a performance like that. As we cross the line for an extremely disappointing night, P17. The weekend started strong in qualifying, ended horrifically in the race. Max Verstappen as well wins his 4th consecutive title as Leclerc wasn't even able to score points. It was never even an exciting fight. Verstappen wins it.
Well, it's certainly been an incredible year for Formula One, and our drivers have all pushed themselves this season, making it one of the most compelling years of racing in history.
How about Max Verstappen with the championship now? Yeah, I mean, honestly, great for him getting his 4th consecutive title. I do believe we are on the cusp of maybe seeing the end of Red Bull's dominance. Of course, we've already seen it come to an end in real life, but I think we're on the cusp of seeing it end here in the career mode, as well as we're seeing these other teams now capitalize. Piastri's winning races. Aston Martin with, Alonso, and as well Alonso going to be alongside Sainz next season. That's going to be a really strong force. Ferrari's going to have, of course, the Leclerc and Hamilton lineup. We have got some strong pairings with good teams next season, and it's going to be really exciting to watch. And then, of course, Red Bull, it's going to be Verstappen and somebody. We don't know who it's going to be. It could be Yuki Tsunoda. It could be Liam Lawson. In real life, it looks like Red Bull's got some weird boner for putting an undeserving driver in that car. I mean, the rumors point to Liam Lawson. He doesn't deserve that ride over Yuki Tsunoda. But Tsunoda, in the career mode, I mean, just scored a point. Albon scored 2, but Tsunoda scores a point while Lawson ends up P13. Tsunoda making a great case right here to say, hey, I belong in that Red Bull seat. What's going to happen? We're going to find out soon. Verstappen wins the championship, 66-point advantage. Red Bull 43 points ahead of Ferrari. Qatar is going to be everything for Ferrari. They need to capitalize, and they got to find something in that next Grand Prix. 2 races remain on the season. I will see you guys in the next episode for the penultimate round. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.